In a previous video, we talked about an ethical dilemma. And of course, with this ethical dilemma, it was emphasizing this idea that either option seems to be wrong, right? It seems to be an ethically or morally wrong decision. Now, the existence of right or wrong morals implies a purpose, right? Because if there was a purpose for humanity, then if humanity goes against that purpose, it's wrong. If a human goes for that purpose, it's right. So the existence of morals, right and wrong, implies a purpose. And a purpose implies a creator, someone who created us with that purpose. So when we look at this and we say, well, perhaps there is a God, right? When someone does something just absolutely horrendous, we look at that and there's just something about it that tells us this is wrong, which again implies a purpose, which again implies a creator. So then as Christians, we look to that creator and say, how are we supposed to live? And of course, as Christians, we look to the Bible, which we believe is God's inspired revelation to mankind, where he explains how we're supposed to live, who he is, what he's done for us, things like that. However, not everything in this life that we will come across, not every decision or choice is mentioned in the Bible, right? We've given lots and lots of examples, and we can use those examples and the instructions that God gave us to try to live a good lifestyle, but not everything mentioned or not everything that happens in this life is mentioned in the Bible. So how are we supposed to make decisions, moral or ethical decisions, when not everything is mentioned in the Bible? Well, with that, there's of course philosophers will come up with these different ethical viewpoints, ethical perspectives that we can try to live by. In the previous video, we talked about consequentialism, which basically says the end justifies the means. You can do the wrong thing for the right reasons. You can lie to someone about their birthday party so that you can surprise them later, right? The surprise and making them happy justifies the lying. That's consequentialism. The end justifies the means. Now, the issue again with consequentialism is just this idea that you don't know the future. So you may do the wrong thing for the right reasons, but that right reason may not even happen, right? You may tell someone, sorry, I'm not going to be at your birthday. I'm too busy. And then you show up at their birthday to surprise them, but then they're not there because they're all depressed and they went for a drive or something like that because they're all depressed that nobody's going to their birthday party or something like that. So you may have had the right intentions for doing the wrong thing, but then what you had planned or predicted to happen doesn't even happen. So you did the wrong thing and bad results happened. So with consequentialism, a huge issue is just you don't know what's going to happen. That's kind of the point of deontology. That's another perspective. Deontology basically says you don't know the future. You don't know that if doing the wrong thing will lead to a right result. So you have the obligation, the duty to do the right thing no matter what. So in the situation of trying to surprise someone for their birthday party, you don't necessarily have to tell them, hey, we're trying to surprise you. But the deontologist would say you should not lie to them because lying is wrong. So you may try to hide that you're coming over later, but you can't lie according to the deontologist. Do what is right with what you have, even if it leads to bad results, because you're not in control of the end result, right? You are in control of the decisions that you make right now. So with the decisions that you make right now, make the right decisions, don't make the wrong decisions. So with that in mind, we can look at stories such as Daniel's three friends, Shadrach, Meshach, and Abednego. We talked about this a little bit in the last video. They could have said, you know what? We're just going to bow down to this image. I mean, it's just a temporary thing. If we don't, then we're going to be thrown into a fiery furnace where we're obviously going to die. So if we just bow down, we just play our part, then we'll be able to live and we can make a good impact in this kingdom, right? We can lead change in this empire, but only if we're alive. So let's just bow down to this image. You know, we know it's wrong, but we're going to do what's wrong for the right reason so that we can make positive change in the future. But that's not what the three friends did. The three friends instead said, we're going to do the right thing no matter what the consequences are. So they were not consequentialists. They didn't say, let's do the wrong thing for the right reasons. They said, let's do the right thing because that's what we have control over. Our decision right now, we don't have control over the end result. But because they chose to do the right thing, Nebuchadnezzar said, I'm going to throw you in the fiery furnace. What God can save you from me? And yet they said, we know that our God can save us from you. But yet, even if he doesn't, we're still going to do the right thing. A very deontological perspective. So with that in mind, they were thrown in the fiery furnace, but yet God protected them from that. And because of that, Nebuchadnezzar became so shocked that he brought them out of the fire and he said, I'm going to promote you guys. So they thought, if, or anyone would have thought in that situation, if we do the right thing, we're going to be put to death and that's going to be the end of our life. But yet they did the right thing, and not only were they not put to death, but they were promoted. So it's just this huge thing. Deontologists, they say, you don't know what's going to happen in the end. Don't do the wrong thing for the right reasons. Do the right thing and hope and pray that good results come of it. So that's the deontological viewpoint. It's a much more biblical perspective, but I wouldn't say that it's perfect, because the deontological perspective kind of looks at things as black and white. Black and white in the sense that there's either right or they're wrong, but what about in ethical dilemmas where both answers seem to be wrong? How do you figure out that situation? Now, the consequentialist or the utilitarian, they're much more adaptable in their approach, because they start weighing the options and saying, well, this would be more wrong than this, so I'm going to do the thing that is less wrong rather than the thing that is more wrong. Whereas the deontologist, he just says it's all black and white. You have to do what is right no matter what. But what if there is no right decision? So the deontology, it's, like I said, it's more biblical than the consequentialism, but it's still not a perfect ethical system to live by, because it's not very adaptable to situations such as moral dilemmas or ethical dilemmas. So what do you guys think? Is deontology the best approach to making ethical decisions, or is there a better approach out there? Now, consequentialism, as we talked about earlier, it seems to view the world as though there's more gray area and it wants to make the best option possible, whereas deontology, it views the world in black and white and says, let's just make the right decision no matter what. But sometimes we're in ethical dilemmas or moral dilemmas where both decisions seem wrong. And what do we do in those situations? Do you have a better approach to making ethical decisions? Go ahead and leave a comment in the comment section. If you want to subscribe to listen to more videos like this, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and click the bell. That way you can get notified anytime we make videos like this. Of course, it's free and you don't have to keep doing it forever if you don't want to. But go ahead and do that if you would like. And of course, if you like the video, go ahead and hit the like button so that it lets us know which content you like and which content you don't like.